Ladies and gentlemen, today is finally the day, the first episode of our Project HQ build series where we're going to be transforming my 850 square foot garage into something pretty special. It is currently 10 in the morning, and before we start this big project of doing our DIY epoxy floor, I have to start off my morning right with our friends over at AG1. And you guys know I'm on my fitness grind and stuff, so having a foundational nutrition supplement to take every day that gives me high energy, gives me that like relief of having no stress. We have a big project happening today, so I have to go and fire one of these up. Rip open the packet, grab your bottle, just feed the powder inside. Take your water, and I'm gonna fill about 12 fluid ounces. Cap that thing up, give her a good shake, and down the hatch she goes. And every serving of AG1 there's vitamins and minerals, stress adaptogens, pre and probiotics, superfoods and mushrooms, and digestive support. Just knowing how beneficial AG1 is for me in my daily life by helping my immune system, it gives me tons of energy. I don't get that fatigue, tired feeling at the end of the day. I would not be sharing this product with you if I myself did not consume this on a day-to-day basis and did not believe in it. I simply want to share it with you all because I think a lot of you can benefit from it like I do myself. Go to drinkag1.com/Derek Barron for a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 AG1 traveling packs free with your first purchase. And to make your life even easier, I just popped up a QR code here on the screen. You can whip out your phone, scan the QR code, it'll go right to the website. And again, that's drinkag1.com/Derek Barron, so make sure you go hop on the AG1 train. AG1, I appreciate y'all, but fam, it is time to lock in. We have a garage floor to epoxy. Let's get it. Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back to Derek Barron Productions for another video, and today we have an official episode of Project HQ, and this episode is probably by far one of the most anticipated, I know for myself, and probably one of the most exciting because based on the title and thumbnail, we are going to be doing some DIYing for the first time in my life because you guys know I am a new homeowner. We just got our house. I got this 850 square foot garage, which we will be DIYing an epoxy floor kit with Rust-Oleum's epoxy kit. Right off the bat, I want to go and say I have no experience whatsoever with working with the tools I'm going to be working with. No idea what I'm doing essentially. I've just been doing a lot of research and kind of get an idea of what needs to be done. So with this episode of Project HQ, I am going to try to break this video up into 3 different parts. Part number 1 being the knowledge behind what we're doing and why we're doing it. Part number 2 is going to be nothing but the prep work, because with a job like this, the prep work is technically your final result. And for part number 3, the exciting part, we are going to be laying the epoxy, laying the flake, and laying the clear coat. So if you're new here and this is your first time on the channel, please do me the biggest favor ever by just simply clicking that subscribe button. And then after the subscribe button, if you want to get alerted whenever I post these episodes, just click that bell notification icon and select all. And I mean, while you're at it, you can drop your boy that thumbs up. It goes a long way. The lighting situation in this video might be kind of wonky. It might be all over the place. I'm gonna try my best. I actually brought 2 of these bad boys just to give me a hand until we can get to that episode to where we install professional garage lighting, which I can't wait. I can't see in here. Right off the bat, we can actually go and answer one of the main questions that everybody has, including myself, before I started doing research into the flooring of a garage. And that main question is, should I paint, should I epoxy, or should I do something like Swiss tracks, which are, you know, the plastic tracks that clip into place and can make a garage floor, which look really good, by the way. So for myself and why I came to the conclusion as to why I wanted to do an epoxy floor is for a couple reasons. Reason number 1 being they just look so good when they're done right. The cleaning aspect of it is very simple. You don't have to like unsnap those Swiss tracks to clean up an oil spill or to clean up anything like that. You can just simply take a mop and a bucket and get the job done. And reason number 2 why I wanted to go with an epoxy floor over the Swiss track idea is simply because of the cost. You'll see in this video, after we lay down the initial paint and paint chips, that's technically all the kit comes with. But if you go the extra mile, go get the clear coat as well, which is an additional cost, but it's so worth it, and it's honestly a must if you're using the epoxy shield kit. Once you apply that clear coat, that really gets that bond. It really makes it hard. So that clear coat kit is indeed the meat and potatoes of this project. Like, it's a must. You have to do it if you're gonna put all that work into the prep, into the paint, into the chips, and not do the clear coat. I hate to say it, you're probably messing up. That's gonna lead us to our next question. Why exactly do you need the clear coat? Well, there's this thing called hot tire pickup, and this car right here, alongside the Mach 1, let's say I'm done driving the car, I back it in like it is right now, and we have an epoxy floor with no shield on top of it, and that tire is pretty hot. That hot tire that's sitting on top of that epoxy now, that is parked and going to stay heated and then cool, will tend to grab that epoxy, and that becomes the worst nightmare because the next time you take the car out to drive, you have epoxy that's kind of adhered to your tire, and you could probably see where this is going. This is what you call hot tire pickup. And just a disclaimer, I'm not gonna sit here and say that, you know, that clear coat shield is going to resolve all your issues. That's not necessarily the case, because I know there's probably people out there, no matter what they did, they had hot tire pickup. But I can promise you this, using that clear coat after this epoxy shield kit will definitely slim down the chances, because it just gets that bond extremely hard. It makes the surface even harder. And again, it all boils down to the prep work. Before I go into all the tools I will be using for this prep work and the options you have, we have to pull everything out of the garage, including Lucifer, all the trash and stuff, and we can begin this process. So if you haven't already, drop a like up on this video, guys. Stay tuned for the whole thing. It's gonna be a lengthy one, but this is going to be by far the best DIY garage floor epoxy flooring kit that you can do at home. And I encourage everybody watching this, if you take any interest into this, go for it, man. I've never done this in my life. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just sending it based off of the research I did, and I'm pretty confident in myself. I think we'll make it happen. So let's get Lucifer pulled out. So against this wall right here, we have some very, very common cleaning utensils that I guarantee a lot of you watching this video already have, so no need to go out and blow a ton of money on this prep work. We got the Mr. Mike Lazowski. So we have Mike, and I know everybody has a Mike, and then we have just a simple shop broom. We have a scrub brush. This is gonna be super important. And we have a squeegee. And with those things, you gotta top it off with that purple power degreaser. We are gonna degrease the floor. I highly suggest you go this option even if you have no experience like myself. We have rented ourselves from Home Depot's rental department a concrete buffer grinder, whatever you wanna call it. I don't know the correct terminology, but I do know it does come with this diamond grinder blade that will attach to the bottom of this. And yes, we have a lot of work on our hands with this option, because this is going to go and take a tiny layer, I want to say 1/16 of the concrete off the top. And if you see spots like this, that is no bueno with epoxy. Literally all those spots are going to be super detrimental to your finished product, and that's why I paid $150 to rent this thing for 24 hours. Like I said, it does have the diamond blade, and obviously this thing is going to spin, and it is going to grind just the smallest layer of concrete, which is going to give us microscopic pores to where when you paint that epoxy, it is going to grip so tight because the adhesion is exactly where it needs to be. Now look, I don't really want to go through all this because I have 850 square feet here to grind, and it is going to make a mess. It is going to be a very long process, but I told myself, Derek, if you're going to spend about $800 to $1,000 in total to do the garage floor, I want it done right. I want it to last, and that's why I said, screw it. We're going to completely bypass the acid etching, which you could do some research on that. It's essentially spraying this acid all over the floor. It etches itself into the concrete, but you're not going to take care of those big grease spots, oil spills, which again, that's just not going to adhere to the epoxy, and you're pretty much wasting money and your time. Just keep that in mind. Use the grinder. It's gonna work great. You'll be okay. It'll be worth your time and effort. And then use the citric acid etching for the outside so you can get better adhesion there where the grinder can't get to. We're gonna get this party started by first sweeping up all the dirt, the debris into a pile, getting rid of that. This way we have somewhat of a dust-free, debris-free surface. We're gonna be degreasing the floor, power washing again, rinsing again, squeegeeing, and then the fun part, the diamond grinder. So here I'm obviously just sweeping the garage, trying to get all the dirt, all the debris into one pile so I can pick it up and make my life much easier when it comes time to start power washing so I'm not blowing stuff all over the place. Garage probably hasn't been swept in a couple of years. There was a lot of grit and grime that came off of this, so I highly suggest sweeping first before cutting corners and going into, you know, power washing, but, you know, you can do what you want. Now that we got a clean base, it's time to power wash. I'm gonna put the jet nozzle on just to kind of get in the nooks and crannies of things, to splash a lot more stuff out, and then we will degrease and scrub. The reason why I'm doing this, and I know a lot of you are probably wondering because I'm gonna be scratching up and grinding up the concrete as it is, it's just to make sure that when that machine runs over the concrete, there's nothing obstructing it and causing any weird patterns or gouges into the main surface, so that's why. On to power washing we go. And we're back. So, obviously, power washing the garage felt a little awkward. I've never power washed inside of a building before, so it was a little weird. But you can even see I'm starting to hand scrape some buildup off the ground because right there in that spot that I'm scraping was just caked with dirt. So that adhesion would have been absolutely terrible if I didn't do this. I got this purple power degreaser from Home Depot as well. It was the most cost effective. It was like $9.98 or something like that. So I figured we're grinding it anyway. This degreaser may not be commercial grade or the best, but it'll do. So I'm gonna go and spread this evenly and start brushing. That completely took up that dark spot that I showed, or once showed on camera. So this stuff might be able to get a lot of it up, but doesn't matter. We're still diamond grinding this concrete. So obviously sitting here scrubbing with the degreaser and stuff, getting a nice little balance between the water and degreaser seemed to do the trick. This stuff really did pull a lot of the dark stains up, which I was a little worried about because I thought maybe I had moisture in my foundation, but that wasn't the case. A lot of the dark stains did come up. But here my buddy Shane actually showed up to the house and I'm squeegeeing, he's power washing, and you can just see that squeegee pushing all of that just disgusting water that came up from scrubbing with degreaser. So definitely worth it, and this is just gonna make, like, look at all that water. Look at that brown water. Over here where a lot of foot traffic area, obviously at the sink, was just filth. But we are going to hook up this diamond grinder, and we got our boy Shane. He just rolled up. Yeah, he brought that S197. Got the deep impact and grabber chilling. This diamond blade just has like a little locking mechanism. You just put it underneath, lock it in, and yeah, pull the trigger and let it rip. So we have our grinder all set up. We have the diamond blade snapped on, installed, and we have the floor lubricated with just a little bit of water. We are going to be attempting a wet sand here just to keep the sanding concrete dust to a minimum. And this stuff is actually really, really bad for you. So I have my respirator mask and some safety glasses. This is crucial, man. You don't want to breathe this stuff in. This concrete dust is horrible for your lungs, like really bad. All right, here goes nothing. So when I obviously first started grinding the concrete, I was definitely nervous, but you can see here I'm starting to understand on how to maneuver it, because that is a little tricky because it's almost like a hovercraft. There is no like wheels on it that you turn with. It just moves by spinning. So once you figure that out, it definitely is a little exhausting, but it's pretty easy. Not too bad. I don't know if you're able to tell from this clip right here, but the clips are indeed like a haziness and a fogginess to them, because that concrete dust that this concrete grinder produces is outrageous. So definitely wear a respirator. Don't be like me. I ended up taking it off because I couldn't breathe as it was, and I'm moving this machine, getting out of breath, and it wasn't a smart idea because I could feel like my throat was getting really sore, and I also could kind of tell that like I was a shortness of breath at the end of the night. So just keep that thing on and rent the vacuum. There's a vacuum attachment. Rent the vacuum. So here are some quick results just from doing this section right here. You can see we are getting down to what we want, and that's that fine concrete feeling. This thing does seem like it loves to operate when it is a little wet. When it's dry, I can feel it like pulling really hard, so I definitely recommend wet sanding it. It's working great. I'll probably go over this again. I might do it in 4 different sections. So boom and boom. So I got to extend this out a little bit more, but so far so good. Really not that bad. It's not as loud as I thought it was going to be. It's just kind of one of those things where you got to lock in and just start knocking it out. So I'm going to get back to it. But this right here, guys, is what's going to take your DIY epoxy floor project to the next level, and I'm here to prove it to you. So once I initially learned on how the machine operates and how it moves and got the hang of it, as you can see here, I started to, do rows, almost like you're mowing the lawn, because I wanted to make sure I did not miss a single piece of concrete. And I'm going horizontal here, but I actually off camera grounded the concrete all over again, going vertical. So I know every piece of concrete got hit, both vertical and horizontally. So it was pretty simple, just very time consuming and very messy. So about an hour and a half, we have the first initial passes done. And honestly, I feel like I'm a pro at operating this thing now. It took a little bit of time just to feel it out. It's a motion-based machine, just the slightest little motion to where you want to go and it hovers its way. So it's very easy to use. About 6 hours worth of work later, non-stop, our full garage here has been etched to what I would like to call perfection in a way, because if you go and you feel this ground, you can definitely tell it has been etched. And what I did, and you probably saw on camera a little bit, but the first pass I went horizontal, so all the way through, row after row. Got as much of that concrete dust out as I could. And by the way, absolutely filthy. It is such a pain dealing with that, so just be aware of that. That sucks. After I got all that flushed out, I then went and repeated the process again in 4 different increments. So we went vertical to just completely dice up the ground. And now, like I was saying, every square inch of this place has a nice finish, which before we lay epoxy, we may do another sweep through just to try to collect more dust. But I think the epoxy is going to adhere to this really nicely. So, it's all in the prep work. I am beyond exhausted. That machine has tweaked every muscle in my body, but it's done, and it's done right. I'm going to let this place dry out for the next day or two. And the next step is going to be applying the epoxy, applying the flakes, letting that dry for 7 hours. And after the 7-hour mark, we're going to apply our clear coat. And it's as simple as that. There's really, there's nothing else here that is going to be hard. The prep is the worst. I'm beat. I'm going home. We'll see you guys when we get the product. So right now we are about 24 hours since the time we started this project. So stepping into the garage, you'll notice I went pretty heavy here on the edge of where the garage door is going to close, because I saw a lot of people having issues to where this was starting to peel. And in my case, I actually plan on taking the coating to this line, because no matter what you do, you can use certain tapes and everything, it'll still bleed underneath the tape and you'll get a really horrible line. So we're going to use this line that's already there from the construction of this slab. That's where it's going to end, so we have a nice clean line and really good adhesion. But looking at the rest of the garage floor, you can definitely tell she is grinded down. It's very spotty. That's just kind of how it's going to go. But over here on the tailgate of Big Blue, you can see we have a variety of products, and I kind of went overboard, as I mentioned, in the garage, but I want to do it right. I want to go that extra mile, and I just want to make sure that this outcome stays for years. So for starters, here is the Rust-Oleum Epoxy Shield Garage Floor Coating Kit. But you can see 450 to 500 square feet, and this garage is 850 square foot. So I did take I took a little more out of my pockets that I wanted to, but I bought another 2.5 car kit. So we have a total of 5 car garage, which that's pretty large in there. So I think we're gonna be right on the money when it comes to spreading the product. And I did the same thing with the clear, and this is the magic stuff here, man. If you're gonna do this, do that. And those 2 boxes are the exact same price. It's like $180 a box, so it's definitely expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, if you had a professional company come out and do this exact garage, you're spending a lot of money. I went out and bought 2 packets of the anti-skid additive, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You put this into your clear coat for the final coat, and it will give you these microscopic, well, not microscopic, but these tiny, tiny, tiny little sand grain type deals that, mix in with the paint so you get some grip. But I am returning these 2 because when you buy these, it actually comes with those packets already, so I didn't know that. So returning those 2 because these have them. Over here to the right of that, I actually, I'm glad I stumbled across this because I totally forgot. We have the concrete patch and repair, which is gonna be important if you want that show quality finish. So when I was grinding this garage floor, we became like this. And I noticed there were a lot of imperfections in the concrete itself. Just by looking around, you can tell we have some, old concrete chips and some weird designs. I don't even know how these got here. Is that like a frog and a leaf? Is that another leaf? I don't know how that's like freaking fossils. Nonetheless though, we have some uneven concrete, and you could go and just coat over it. It'll be fine. You'll see it, 100% you'll see it, but I'm not really gonna go through all this work to see that. So I bought that extra kit. I'm gonna go all in here and patch up all those imperfections to try to make it as flat as possible. Once the coating is laid down, it should have a more superior look. Why not? After we do our concrete patching, we obviously have to get it smoothened down. So I got these like really, really harsh sandpapers because, the main goal is to still have it adhere to that. Some more Purple Power degreaser, we're gonna do that again. I got these 2 paint brushes because when rolling, you're gonna have to do the edges really quick. And then I got these 18-inch concrete paint rollers alongside a long stick and an adjustable rolling head. But there you go. That's going to be all the products needed for this project. And I'm a little nervous, can't even lie, because I am doing this all myself, and I know I have about 40 to 45 minutes to completely coat the garage, spread the chips, and make sure it's all done before that stuff starts hardening when I mix it. So I'm a little nervous on that because I am a one-man band with this big old garage, but I think I can handle it. And if I can do it, you can do it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but for now, it's time to do some concrete repair. Part B, and we have 30 minutes to do this. So 2 to 1, boom, and then 1 of our Part A. So our first little patch job is completed, and I'm not going to film the rest of these. I'm just going to go ham on it. I'll show you guys the final result. You might be able to tell though, we have a ton, and I mean a ton, of concrete patches throughout the garage here. But again, like I said, there was weird designs, there was gouges, there was concrete brittle. This has to cure, and we will go back and sand it all flat, nice and smooth. I feel like this was an absolute must of a job, so don't skip out on this. Definitely took me some time. I probably did, I don't know, maybe 100 different patches, but it should be worth it. So it's a couple days later. All of our concrete patching is 100% dried, settled. It's very hard, and it's actually epoxy. It's not concrete. So that Rust-Oleum stuff is epoxy sealer, and it's actually going to adhere better than concrete patcher when it comes to laying down the full floor. I went to Home Depot and just picked up a little 5-inch hand sander with some sanding discs, and we're gonna go and sand those down to where they're flat. This is also important information as well, because you can't just lay down the concrete patcher and epoxy over it. You must sand it so it gets a lot of indentions in there, and then the epoxy can hold to that. But you can epoxy over epoxy, so keep that in mind. So fun fact for you, I actually tried to sand these by hand, and yeah, not happening, but it worked pretty good. Super simple, just get it smooth and it'll do the job. So now comes the fun part of this job, and probably the most painful. That's going to be dealing with this concrete dust that you created from grinding, from sanding, whatever you did. There's just so much of it. It was so much concrete dust. I was starting to lose my mind and losing my patience. I started getting a little lazy with the filming because I was getting aggravated with how much concrete dust I had to clean. But right now you're watching me do some scrubbing with degreaser and, you know, pushing this stuff out. Well, let's just say you'll probably do this about 4 to 5 times, because that's how many times I did it just to make it somewhat reasonable to lay epoxy. The dust is no joke. Now that the floor is all dried and squeegeed out from the degreaser, we're gonna go and take this concrete etch that comes in your kit. And you guys obviously know I grinded the concrete down. This is typically what people would just use. This is it, but we're gonna do this anyway, just to kind of see what happens. I don't think y'all can hear it, but it is about a week later. We've been doing some moving and stuff, and we finally got a nice day to go and lay the epoxy. And again, I am extremely nervous right now. I've been reading reviews on good and bad, and it just seems like the prep is everything. So we're gonna go into the garage, give it one final sweep, one final shop vac. I got the boys with me. We got Ben, Brandon, Micah, and Jordan. They're gonna give me a hand, which I feel like this is really gonna help out. So we have a roller. We have all our paint chips. We're going with this awesome gray, black, blue, and white paint chips. We got 5 bags of those. We got the brush to trim in. We got the roller. We're using an 18-inch. I think it's like a wool roller for concrete, so it won't wear out as bad. We're just gonna keep doing some more prep. Just make sure we get every bit of dust we can, because once this stuff lays down, whatever's underneath it, that's wraps. Like, that's how it's going. So
DVP special color. There you go.
About to mix your batter.
I think vacuuming a garage door is gonna be on my bucket list today.
Mask on, mask off. Yeah.
Oh, we are gonna take our blue speckled chips, pour them all in here, and we have quite a few actually, so we should get some good coverage on this floor with this blue speckle on the gray paint. It should look really good. And our boy Jordan here is gonna be the one that's in charge of throwing the chips. You're gonna be able to get some good coverage on this.
You better get your flower girl on and just start sprinkling away. The time lapse
All right,
setup.
go
Oh wait, where's that bucket?
I got it.
Camera meets camera.
Yep, there you go.
We have 5 cars worth of product. So we're gonna have 4 bags of color, 4 bags of hardener. Now, if you look over what Jordan's doing, Jordan cut the hardener off of the color bag, and what we're gonna do is put all the colored bags of gray in one bucket, mix it so it's a consistent gray, then we're gonna go half of that gray into that bucket, and then we'll add 2 bags of the hardener into this bucket. So it's essentially a complete kit, just a solid color, so it's all mixed properly. Here you go, Jordan.
Let me get this nice. Let me get this nice cut.
Just like so. Make sure you get it all.
That's how you would make even parts.
Perfect. Yeah, we should be all right though. Give this a good mix. Oh, look at that. Holy shit.
Initial one pretty quick.
Yeah, we should be all right.
I can see through.
Let's test
No, you're good.
that.
Keep going a little bit
Okay, hold on, let's test that. Let's test that.
It's right here where the O is. So we're probably gonna need to go to like halfway up the P.
So now we're gonna add our 2 hardeners.
Okay, it looks like
Epoxy.
no, it looks like sugar when you've melted it into like a little thing.
It's game time.
We'll mix it when I'm getting to where the cars are gonna park.
That's what I'm saying, because you still have that whole bin over there now. And then you have bin over there.
Alright, have at it, Jordan.
Yeah,
Mike,
take
you mind holding this right here?
Yeah, take a peek at that beginning portion and let me know if there's something that needs adjustment.
No, it looks good. If you could just keep it that consistent throughout the whole garage, it should look good.
I got you.
Jordan's on the flake job, but I gotta do it just because it's my
You gotta add
garage.
a little bit to it.
Here we
you
go.
know what I'm saying?
Shoot.
Hey!
Shoot nice.
A little
Yeah.
confetti!
Yep.
It's about to get heavy.
Watch your feet.
Thanks.
So is there just gonna be a ton of space behind the car for like moving around?
Oh, yeah. So obviously you could tell the boys and I are just going at it. We're mixing as we go. We have 1 bucket on standby just so we don't add our hardener in there and it kind of goes to waste. So we got about halfway and then I told Micah to mix up the other bucket so I could go extra thick as to where the car's tires are going to be parked, just to, you know, try to eliminate that hot tire pickup as much as possible. But it took us about 30 minutes. We absolutely crushed it in my opinion, and it fell over, but we set it back up.
Let me just get this last thing.
All right, we are rolling.
That's all the product I
Alright, you're
need.
good, Derek.
And roll up into here too.
Alright, Derek, you can get the spot again.
Okay,
Well,
well,
done.
it's about...
A-G-L-E-E.
Wow, boy.
Get that spot over there again. Where you were. Make sure it's even.
Oh, shit.
Bro, I almost stepped in the puddle.
All right, y'all see, I mean, does it look good?
Yeah.
We got some leftover product. This ain't gonna get heavy foot traffic, but screw it. It should be fine.
It'll make it look really cool.
Yep. We had leftover product. The front porch looking kind of beat. I figured, you know, we can lay it down. It'll be fine, and it's not gonna get heavy foot traffic. So as far as peeling and stuff, more just for the aesthetic look at this point.
I'll come back there and get some more stuff, some more product. Actually, yeah, we're talking.
Yo.
As you saw, we had a lot of product left over. I probably should have went 3.5 cars worth of product instead of 5. We did the front porch, and it looks freaking great. It was really like shot.
Looks like fresh poured concrete.
Yeah, see, it bled a little bit. It's not that big of a deal, though.
Not terrible.
Oh, she looks good. So the next day, we are now applying the clear coat, and I actually did the back of the garage there, and I must say, absolutely atrocious. This clear does not lay like the initial colored epoxy whatsoever, and it is very, very difficult. It is honestly such a mess, and I'm just hoping, you know, we can get somewhat of a good result out of this. But I didn't film the first bag because I had an oh shit moment. My brush came off my roller, and I was stepping in the epoxy and everything, and it was just... it sucked. Bag number 2 with the clear coat and the skid additive has just been added, and guys, that was the worst part about this project. And to be real with you, I'm not exactly stoked on how hard that was to apply, considering the first layer was extremely easy, right to the point, super smooth. But this clear stuff, not fun. Regardless though, I think I got it pretty good. And I even threw a little more flakes on top of the clear just to fill in a lot of like missing spots that were more bald than others. And I don't know if you're exactly supposed to do that. I really don't care at this point. But this is what it looks like right now. And we are going to let this thing cure for probably the rest of the week. It is currently Monday. I'm filming this, so next Monday. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, you might be able to tell we have some cars in here. And the floor is fully cured. We do have both cars in the garage now, and the garage floor is finished. It's all cured up like I mentioned. It is clear coated, and it was a process, that's for sure. But just looking at it now, it is, you know, it's a lot better than what it was. And by no means is this a professional job, but this is just a simple DIY job to get an epoxy floor that is super hard, that is going to last, that I can park the cars in and give it a good, you know, a good overall look in the garage. And to just be satisfied comparing to the old floor that was just completely dirtied, stained. And I'd like to say this is so much better and a pretty good upgrade. There is a lot with this project that I should definitely fill you all in with. So for starters, just be prepared for the crazy amount of prep work, because it is going to take you some time, especially if you do concrete etch it, which if you don't, kind of wasting your time, I think. Definitely rent the grinder, grind it properly, and just go for it. Total amount of prep work, it was about 5 to 6 days of just non-stop cleaning, prepping, cleaning, and cleaning. Next would be the product. As far as the colored epoxy, like the gray, it was very easy to lay. It laid so simply. We actually had a little too much product because I bought 2 of the 2.5 car kits, and we had so much left over, so I should have gotten 3.5 cars worth. I did have product left over though to do the front porch, so it's kind of a win. Laying that product, throwing the chips and stuff, very easy, but when it comes to the clear coat, that's where it was a complete nightmare. Another gripe is, you know, with the clear coat, you obviously have the option to add in that anti-skid additive, which I would definitely do, because you can probably hear, like, I got some grip, and when epoxy gets wet, it is extremely slippery, so that anti-skid actually works, because it's been non-stop rain here for the last couple days, and it's been wet. It has worked really well. When you go and spread it with your brush, the brush just soaks up so much of that actual like sand-like product. And once you hit it on the ground, for example, right here, I don't know if you can see how this is like a stripe, but don't let me fool you. Just because this was only like $1,300, this isn't the best or cream of the crop product out there for your garage floor. This is a DIY project. This is going to be mediocre grade. And if you were to have a professional company come out, they're using solvents that are like insane. So just keep that in mind, but you will be spending $7,500, $10K for this garage alone. So I just couldn't do that right now. But the DIY project was definitely fun. I highly encourage a lot of you to do it, and shout out to my boys for coming over to help me lay the epoxy floor, because there's just no way I was doing this alone. Like, that would have been such a freaking headache. So shout out to them. But overall, pretty fun experience. Very, very cool to see like a project come, you know, to life, and to what it was, to what it is now, and to what it's gonna look like in here in the next 6 months. So I'm very stoked on that. Hope you guys enjoyed this little DIY project, and if there's any questions you have, definitely comment down below. I can help out as much as possible. And I just hope this video showed a lot of information for you guys, but that's kind of it. And you know, I can show you a little walk around, why not? Maverick's looking good in the garage. And it's like prime time daylight, so sorry for the shades and shadows and stuff, but it looks good. And the floor matches the cars really nicely. I think they look good in the garage. Give you a little look over there. And we got Lucifer and all this section right here that's pretty wide. But that is the garage, guys, and I apologize for the horrible lighting. One day we will have good lights in here so you can really take it in, but as far as I can show you now, that's pretty much it, and I appreciate y'all watching. Thank y'all so much for tapping into the first episode of Project HQ. We plan on bringing a lot more. I have a lot more work to do, and you know, maybe I'll inspire you to do it as well, just like this garage floor. So I highly encourage it. It definitely makes it look sick. It's a fun project, and you can definitely tackle it. But thank y'all so much for tapping in, man. It means the world to me, and make sure you drop a like up on this video if you enjoyed. Drop a comment down below, say what's up, or let me know. Rate my garage floor. I'll go through all the comments, check it out. Please help me hit my goal of reaching 300,000 subscribers by just clicking that subscribe button down below. below with the bell notification icon so you know when I upload. It's been real, fam, and our first DIY project at the house is completed. But thank y'all so much. Much love, and we will see you in the next one.